Hi, so I'm Heather Kent. I'm teaching Introduction to Puppetry, and I'm just going to give you a brief little example of one of the classes you would be doing if you were taking this class. So this is a class about the head. We are going to build a very simple head made out of paper and tape onto a dowel. And the first thing we want to talk about before we even start to build this head is the angle of the neck to the head. It really says so much about what the puppet can express. So for example, this little guy, his head comes straight at a 90 to his neck. And because of that, we need to have this other stick that enables us to manipulate him or her. But the other thing you have to think about is how your head relates to the body. And if your body collar is at a certain angle, your head can now all of a sudden become like, you know, he's a totally different puppet than if he was straight up. So you really can get expression by the angle that the stick is to the head. The other thing to think about is just, it's so important that your head has places like indentations and high points so that when the light is hitting him on stage, because these are stage puppets, that there's shadows cast. Because, you know, people can sometimes think that these puppets actually are moving and have expression, but they're not. They're rock hard, but if they have subtle differences between the left side and the right side, and how the shadows are cast in the eyes and underneath the nose when they're moving through space, they will actually appear like they have expression. So try not to make your head be completely uniform like some model. You know, live with it. And if it actually has some grotesqueness and one eye is bigger than the other eye, I guarantee you it's actually going to be a way more interesting puppet. So just paper and tape. You can go a little bit further once you've finished with the paper and tape. And if you wanted the puppet to be smooth, here what I've done is I have just covered the paper and tape with cheesecloth and just plain old house paint. And for the eyes, I've used just styrofoam balls. So this puppet is a little bit smoother. Where this puppet, really, these guys are going to be husband and wife. This is the fishmonger, and this is the fishmonger's wife. But you can see I've left her very rough. After I got to this point, I just did one final coat of taking care of laying the tape on rather smoothly. Yep, see, I say that and then I wrinkle it all up. And once I have that final coat on, then I just give it a coat of gesso or even just house glue and then start painting it. And the fact that it's quite rough actually plays better with the light. Or I should say the light plays better with the roughness. These aren't smooth porcelain dolls at all. What they are theatrical puppets. Okay, you can lie down. Something like this is actually made with a product called Celluclay, so it is a lot smoother, but I still have, again, not made efforts to make it very smooth. It actually is quite rough. And I just think it gives you a little bit more character in the grotesqueness of the puppet. So once I get to this point, I'll look at it. I always say test drive your puppet all along the way. So I'm going to, I don't like that. I'm going to check how he moves through space. I'm happy with the shadows that are cast. And then I would start figuring out how the head relates to the body. And that would be for the next class. We'll start on the body in the next class. So that's what we would start to look at in the one class where we're concentrating on the head. Thank you. That's it. Oh, of course. So I hope you found this interesting, and thank you all for coming. For the next class, we will start focusing on the body, and we will actually also, once we have a body, we'll start playing with making it breathe and figuring out how this puppet wants to move, because you can always change your mind just by simply repositioning a leg or whatever. So thank you for coming, and yeah, I hope you take this class.